Hi, my name is Jartis Watts. I'm one of the first and original members of Provision, and I am currently the president of A&I, Digital System Integrations Company. Growing up was my family and my neighborhood. Family first, because my mom had me when she was 17. My dad wasn't really part of my life. My grandmother, my grandfather, they became like my parents. Now, fortunately, the men in my family were criminals, and I saw a lot of violence. Growing up, I didn't have any role models. The only role models were, people that you saw on TV, athletes or entertainers. Most of my challenges were in-house. Then had friends that didn't make right decisions. Friends that were, starting to get into drugs early, died early, or get into juvenile or prison, things like that. But I didn't, I was searching, and I didn't want to end up that way. Because of the things that I saw at home, I focused myself, I tried on academics and playing sports. I first met Coach Roy. He came to an athletic banquet, and I was one of the star athletes, and Coach Roy gave a speech, and of course they introduced him as an ex-NFL player, so of course my eyes lit up, and all the kids' eyes lit up, just because that was in the inner city. Athletes were, they were your heroes, right? This was at Welch Middle School. There was a coach, Coach Anderson. He was one of the coaches at the school, and so he had told us that the gym was going to be open up on Saturdays. I was there the first time they opened up. In the beginning, there was only a few kids. We would play the coaches. What happened is more kids in the neighborhood started coming. It got to the point where they had to use both sides of the gym. Then what happened is they started shortening the time to start talking about real life. This is something I want to hear, because I had never had a African American male to sit down and talk to me on a different level, right? I mean, I never really had conversations with anyone that was an adult male, period. So the fact that they were willing to sit down and talk to us, so I kept coming because of the fact that I was so intrigued by what these men had to say, and the fact that they took their time out to talk to me. I was like a sponge taking in all information. They handed me books to read. I believe Frederick Douglass' autobiography was the first book that they gave me, and that changed my life. I thought that, okay, here's a man that used to be a slave, that ran away from slavery, that ended up getting paid to speak during that time, and was at the White House advising the President of the United States. That transformed my thinking into believing that my circumstance doesn't matter. It's what between my ears that matters. Those were the things, the teachings of Provision. We don't have to be a victim of our circumstance, right? The biggest memory is when we went to Mississippi. I had never been out of Houston my whole life until Provision. We went to our first manhood trip was Mendenhall, Mississippi. The whole trip was, it was working in the community, having moments to talk about life every day, opening me up to see different things outside of the concrete jungle of Houston was major because you become enclosed to your environment and you don't know what else is out there. The thing about Provision, they taught us that there's no limit to what you can do. Being the first in my family to graduate college, to help build a legacy for my other cousins that came up. Because of what I've done, I got my younger cousins that are going to college and starting businesses, because they all tell me that they looked up to me. Provision gave me my first project back in 2001. So that's kind of that entrepreneurial spirit, that in investing and building a legacy. I learned that in Provision. I also like to thank the donors and supporters to Provision to facilitate the vision of Provision. Thank you very much. You don't know how much your efforts have done to help people like me and a lot of the younger Provision guys that have come behind me.